Hello everyone! Welcome back to our channel. Today we are reading a beautiful and emotional story called The Wooden Bowl's Lesson. This story teaches a powerful message. The way we treat the elderly today is the same way we will be treated in the future. Kindness, respect, and patience toward older family members show the true heart of a home. As you listen, think about how we can show more love to our parents, grandparents, and elders in our daily life. Let's begin the story. Thomas Miller had been a strong man all his life. He worked as a carpenter for 40 years. His hands were skilled, steady, and confident. He made beautiful furniture that stayed strong for many years. But now Thomas was 83. His hands trembled. His body felt weak. Even simple tasks were difficult for him. After his wife, Margaret, passed away, Thomas felt very alone. Soon after, he suffered a small stroke. The stroke made it hard for him to cook, walk safely, or take care of himself. Because of this, he agreed, though he did not truly want to move in with his son, Robert, and his daughter-in-law, Diane. Their 4-year-old son, Michael, also lived with them. The Millers lived in a small, quiet house in the suburbs. They cleared the guest room on the main floor for Thomas. They brought in a few of his special items, a faded wedding photo of Margaret, his old Bible, and a wooden bedside table he had built when he was young. The family made a place for him in their home, but making space in their hearts was harder. At first, things were fine. The family tried to eat meals together. Thomas did his best to stay calm and steady, but his hands shook badly. Sometimes he dropped his spoon. Sometimes food slipped from his fork. He often spilled water or soup. Each time he felt ashamed. Robert and Diane tried to be patient in the beginning, but slowly their patience faded. One evening, Thomas dropped his glass again. Water spilled across the table. Diane sighed loudly. Robert shook his head. "Dad, please be more careful," Robert said, sounding tired. "I'm trying," Thomas whispered. Michael, the little boy, watched quietly. He loved his grandfather, but he could feel the tension at the table. The next night, Thomas's trembling hands knocked over his plate. The food scattered on the floor. Diane lost her temper. "That's it," she said sharply. "We can't keep doing this every night." She quickly went to the kitchen. She returned with a small wooden bowl. It was old, scratched, and simple. "From now on, you can use this," she said. "It won't break if you drop it." Thomas lowered his eyes. His cheeks burned with embarrassment. He nodded silently and accepted the wooden bowl. From that day, Thomas ate alone at the far corner of the dining area. They put a small table there for him. It felt like a punishment. During meals, he sat quietly with his bowl, carefully lifting each bite. Sometimes a tear slipped down his cheek, but he wiped it away before anyone saw. Little Michael noticed everything. He saw grandfather sitting alone. He saw his father and mother scolding Thomas. He saw the wooden bowl. Michael did not understand everything adults understood, but he felt something was wrong. He felt sad for his grandfather. One afternoon, Michael was on the floor of the living room. He had blocks and small pieces of wood spread out around him. He was building something slowly and carefully. Diane walked by and noticed him working with great focus. "What are you building, sweetheart?" she asked, smiling. Michael looked up and answered, "I'm making a wooden bowl." "A bowl?" Diane asked, confused. "Why do you need a bowl?" Michael looked down at his blocks and said calmly, "I'm making it for you and Daddy, so when I grow up, you can use it when your hands start shaking." Diane froze. She felt a shock go through her. Her breath caught in her throat. At the same moment, Robert entered the room. He had heard what Michael said. He looked at his son, then at Diane, and then toward the small table where his father usually sat. The house went silent. Neither Robert nor Diane spoke for several seconds. The meaning of Michael's words hit them deeply. They suddenly understood their behavior. They realized how harsh and unkind they had been toward Thomas. They felt ashamed. Michael had shown them a mirror, and they did not like what they saw. Without saying a word, Robert walked to his father's small table. Thomas was sitting there, quietly finishing his meal. Robert knelt beside him. "Dad," he said softly, "we're sorry." Thomas looked up, confused. "Please," Robert continued, voice shaking, "come back to the main table. Eat with us. You belong with the family." Diane joined them, tears in her eyes. "We should never have treated you like that," she said. "We were wrong." Little Michael ran over and wrapped his arms around his grandfather. Thomas looked at each of them. His eyes watered, but this time the tears were from relief, not sadness. He nodded slowly. "Thank you," he said. That evening, for the first time in many weeks, Thomas sat at the main table again. His hands still shook, and he still spilled a little food, but no one sighed or complained. Instead, Robert gently helped him. Diane smiled warmly. Michael giggled and told stories about school and toys. The mood in the house changed. The family became more patient, more loving, and more understanding. The wooden bowl stayed in the kitchen cabinet as a reminder of the lesson they had learned. A lesson about kindness, respect, and how we should treat the people who cared for us when we were young. Thomas's days were not perfect. His hands never stopped shaking, but he never ate alone again. The family embraced him, supported him, and honored him. In return, Thomas shared stories from his younger days, lessons from his long life, and gentle words of wisdom. And Michael grew up remembering the lesson he had taught without even knowing it. The way we treat the elderly today is the same way we will be treated one day. Thank you so much for listening to the Wooden Bowls Lesson. This story reminds us of an important truth. Our children learn from our actions. If we treat elderly people with respect and kindness, our children will grow up to do the same. Let's always show love, be patient, and care for the people who cared for us when we were young. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.